Prior to that, maybe there are some people in the audience that have no idea what's AB 1955. Maybe they don't live in the great state of California.
Okay, so AB 1955, it was a direct response to districts like ours. Remember, Bill Aselli introduced a bill. They talk about democracy, but they wouldn't even give that bill a hearing. And that's why us at local level, we're starting to put policies saying if your child is identifying as another sex on a school campus, we're going to let the parent know. And the state did not like that. So that's the 1955. Passing that bill was a direct response to districts like ours. Shortly after we passed it, Bonta, Thurman, and Newsom opened a lawsuit on us. And we went directly into a battle in the court. And, battles in California courts are not always the greatest. We usually, would expect the biggest decisions in the Ninth Circuit and then again in the Supreme Court, which you see the gender affirming care stuff. And it's just insanity, but it's being challenged right now. And the hearings are starting in Supreme Court. So with that said, 1955, we refused to give up alongside some other districts. We had the support of California. You saw the polls. What was it? It was over 80% of people said they would want to know if it was their child. Mm-hmm. So here we are. We just ended our court prior to that for the notification when the state sued us about, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks ago. And we kept hearing the state, Newsom and Bonta and Thurman and all of them say a child has a right to privacy from their parents. Well, I will say in California court, we had a huge win. And it was determined that no, the child does not have a right to privacy from their parents. From government and third party, like we've been saying the whole time, yes, they do have a right to privacy, but not from their parents. So as much as Newsom, Thurman, and Bonta wanted to claim a victory because we couldn't have the exact wording of the policy, we still won a huge battle for parents. And you still see the Maribelli case with the teachers, challenging. There's so many great things happening that I don't want people to feel like there isn't any hope. It's just these battles take a long time and they take us to get into the mud and stay in the mud fighting for them. Now, we, alongside other school districts and parents, with the help of Liberty Justice, who defended us in court, turned around and now we're suing the state for the 1955 law, saying it does, violate parents' constitutional right in the upbringing of their child. Mm-hmm. We are set. The state filed a motion to dismiss. They wanted to, dismiss it. The first court that it'll be heard is on the 19th of this month at 1:30 p.m. up in Sacramento courts. So that'll be heard. Now, again, with the local courts, we wouldn't expect too much, but at least this is starting the process now. But Apollo, I will say this. Back in, I think, March, our district went back to the drawing board because if there's a will, there's a way to protect kids, right? And we came up with a whole different policy that they will not touch that still informs the parent. We just didn't have the exact wording. And even with 1955, our policy will still be valid and we will not have to get rid of our policy.
How come?
Because, look, you still have FERPA. Parents still have a right to records, right? That's federal law.
What is that?
The students' records, the parents have a right to those.
Okay.
Now, you have unofficial and you have official records for when your child's in school. Mm-hmm. Official are like driven by your birth certificate and things that cannot be changed, right?
Yes.
Except by the court of law. Now, your unofficial are things like, if you're changing your name or your nickname, not name, but like nickname and stuff. So what we did is we developed a policy that says if your unofficial record or official is changed by a student, the parents will be notified. Now, when the phone call or the notification goes out, it's not, oh, your child is identifying as another sex. It's Mrs. Shaw, your child had an unofficial record change, right? My job as a parent, any involved parent, is to do what? Ask.
To check on it, yeah.
What did they change? The school district by law has to tell the parent. So here's the thing. We know there's parents that they're not involved and they don't care. We understand that. We realize that. But there's parents, the majority of parents do want to be involved in their child's life. And any involved parent that gets an email that says your child's record change has been changed, unofficial or official, we're going to ask.
Yeah, so but the terminology is still very, it confuses people.
With what?
Not your son or your daughter is about to change the gender. He's about to change his name, but the unofficial record has been changed. Never mind.
Yeah, but in a time such as this, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't any parent knowing that this stuff is happening? And any involved parent might already have an idea something's going on. Like you see the signs. Again, you're going to be speaking to Aaron Friday eventually soon, and there's parents that see the signs, but they are already intervening and getting their child help. They don't want the school districts to intervene and give the help that most school districts are giving, which is doing what? Assisting a child in changing their genders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are already actively a good parent involved in your child's life and you get a notification like that, you are going to definitely 100% be involved in asking why and what it is. So when that happens, what is the record change? Oh, they changed their name from Steve to Jessica, right? Let's just use those names. Then, of course, now I'm going to know that there's something going on, and I'm going to even intervene more and make sure my child's either you pull the child out if you feel like the district is doing bad things and assisting the child, or you make sure you get your child help in that case.
Let's say a parent finds out that Steven wants to be Jessica from now on, and the parent does not affirm that. Will he be in trouble?
Well, with the laws that were passed in the last few years, we do see that happening. But again, you do have help from attorneys. You do have organizations that are helping these parents fight the good fight to make sure that they keep their child. But if you pull them out of the school district and they have no more records of that child and you homeschool or put them in another private school or whatever you may do as a parent that feels you're best for your child, what are they going to do?
Oh, because the school fights.
It's the school is required to notify it's the government, right? And then the government comes in.
Okay, but if the school notifies the government that a parent does not affirm the new gender of his child, and a parent pulls off this child of the school.
So there was a law passed that does allow the government to take your child without even notifying you that day. Your child just might not come home, right? And we've seen that.
It's California only.
Well, there might be other states. I think Colorado is a pretty close call, but it's just a few states that
Oregon,
that are
Washington.
Insane like that. And that goes again with the lawmakers and the supermajority of people who don't have the best interest for families and protecting children in mind.
Does the Constitution say whose child are our child?
Absolutely. The 14th Amendment, that's what we're fighting for. Parents have the right to the upbringing of their own child. And you have the government now intervening and trying to be the parent of that child. And we see this, Apollo, through community schools. They're giving money. Community schools is to take care of the whole child. It's not saying that there isn't families that don't need help. We are obviously in for assisting in help, right? I come from a childhood where my family needed help for many different reasons. We accept that the government can help for those temporary periods of times, but to take care of your own child and to take your child from you is insane. There's an ulterior motive again, right? When they do that. And that's why it's so important that we know what exactly is happening with our kids, what the direction of our California Department of Ed and the unions, what they're doing. Us parents need to be actively involved in understanding what their direction is. Kids are failing at reading, writing, and math. That's the fact. And you have school districts such as ours that does a great job in education, but there's so much interference from the state, so many requirements, so many laws because you have the supermajority up there in Sacramento that don't care about the education portion. They're pushing a whole different agenda.